Welcome back finally to another video, our first one on NHL 25, and we are of course going to be making our Speed Demon all-around absolute superstar build. And real quick before we get into it, I have to of course first apologize for the inconsistency in NHL 24 and say that we are back in full effect between player builds, best builds, a bunch of miscellaneous videos. I have a bunch planned for this year that if y'all want to see, be sure that y'all are sub with noties on because we are back in full effect. Let's get right into it though, and let's stop wasting any of y'all time. Now, first for your archetype, much like the past few years, we are going to be going with a sniper. Reason being is because it just has the best overall attributes where when you get max speed and stuff, because of course as a speed demon build, that's what we're going to want. You can still have really good all-around attributes in those categories, whereas the other builds like danglers, playmakers, PMDs, they kind of lack a little bit more in those areas than snipers do. Then we are of course going to make him 5'9", 160 pounds, as this is still the height and weight that you do need to use to have maximum speed. You of course go 5'8" or 5'7" if you wanted to, but 5'9" actually gives you an extra agility as well. You could go 5'10" and still have max speed, but I just go 5'9", so we also get that additional agility as well. Then for whatever hand you want to shoot with, this is completely personal preference. If you shoot IRL and play hockey, you can choose whatever hand you shoot with. I shoot lefty, that's why I normally play lefty. However, it's completely up to you. And of course, abilities and boosts we will come back to as always. Now, first for your technique attributes, before you even adjust anything or edit anything, take anything off, you will see that you do start with 80 skill points in a couple different categories this year. This year for technique, playstyle, and tactics for skaters, and for goalies, it's going to be your low and your quickness attributes. Now, of course, this does give you a little bit more flexibility and stuff to add to your build. So we are, of course, going to add 5 to our speed. As you see, we do have 95 speed. Reason being, if you did not know, there is no speed or acceleration boost this year, so the maximum speed is still 95. There is no +2 speed and acceleration boost to get 97 speed. 95 will still be your max speed. Then we just added 5 to agility because there is also no elite edges this year, so maximum agility. So far from what I've been playing, I've been loving the higher the agility. I've been loving it. Then you're just going to take 5 off your wrist shot accuracy, 3 off your slap shot accuracy, and 3 off your balance. Reason being is because 85 wrist shot and slap shot accuracy is above most builds default as to what they get for their shots. So taking those attributes off of these categories doesn't really matter, so we can still get max speed and max agility on this build. And next for your playstyle attributes, you're going to add 5 to your acceleration, 3 to puck control to give us an even 90 puck control. Then you're going to take 5 off your endurance, 4 off wrist shot power, and 3 off your slap shot power. As like I said, 86 and 87 slap shot power is still above more than most builds will get, and we're also going to make up for that a little bit later in the build. Then moving on to your playstyle attributes, you do see you have the additional 80 skill points again, so we're going to of course add 5 to our passing, 5 to our offensive awareness as well, and take 5 off stick checking and 2 off body checking. As like I mentioned, this build is meant to be an all-around offensive superstar, and regardless, as long as you time your poke checks and stick lifts right, stick checking still is not the most important attribute to me from what I've noticed so far this year. And also body checking between a 78 and a 76, you're really not going to notice much of a difference. After that, for your tenacity attributes, you just want to add 3 to your hand eye, 2 to strength, then take 5 off shot blocking, as shot blocking just still does not feel like a super important attribute this year, and take 4 off your durability as well. And finally, for your tactics attributes, there is going to be a couple different ways you can make this, of course, because if you want to go center, you can make it one way to increase your face-offs and max those out. But if you're only going to be playing wing most of the time, you can of course forget about the face-offs for the most part. So luckily, however, this year, huge if you're using this build at center with the additional 80 skill points that you get. As you will see, if we add +5 to our face-offs, we can add +3 to our deking. If we take 5 off fighting skill and discipline, we actually only need to take 4 off our discipline, or you could take 5 and have an additional 10 skill points, but there's really no point in doing that. So if you're center, you can still upgrade your deking by +3 this year, which is absolutely huge because I feel like I've been asking this pretty much since they made the builds this way. It's been super annoying that if you do +5 to your face-offs, no matter what you did before, you could not increase deking at all. But luckily this year, EA stepped up and they showed some love to the tactics category, so we can actually do that this year. And of course, if you are going to be using this build at the winger, you can go +5 on your deking, +1 on your discipline, then take 4 off your face-offs and 5 off your fighting skill. If you're not really going to be playing 6s and you might not play right wing and end up stepping in for some of those face-offs, and you're strictly just going to be playing on the wing and 3s maybe, this may be the way to go with this tactics attribute category. Now, going back to your abilities, for our Zona ability, I am of course going to go with 1T this year because between the timed 1Ts and the fact that we took off a little bit of slapshot power, this will help us make up for that lost slapshot power, and the timed 1Ts combined with the 1T ability just feels absolutely filthy this year. Now, for your superstar abilities, for your first one, I highly recommend going with close quarters because this ability still feels super good this year, and this will help us make up for our lost wrist shot accuracy and power, especially when close to the net, which is where we're going to be taking a majority of our shots from, especially playing wing or center. But then for your second one is where it kind of becomes a little bit more personal preference. If you want to go with a deking one like ankle breaker or puck on a string, you can go with that. If you want to go with another shooting one like backhand beauty or heat seeker, you could go with that. If you want to go with magnetic, just so you have a little bit more control of the puck, big tipper. If you want to go defensive and kind of edit the build a little bit, you would obviously have to make some tweaks to make this build a little bit more defensive. You could also go with any kind of athleticism ability. However, the one that I'm going to be deciding to go with is Beauty Backhand. This way I have a boost on all types of shots, no matter what type of shot I'm taking, unless it's pretty much a wrist shot from the blue line, which I will not be taking very much, if at all. And finally, for our boost, another reason why I did not go with a passing or a deking ability is because I did do controlled passing for our first boost, and I went with controlled deking for our second boost. This way we have +4 to both deking and passing. They're at almost 90. Then you have the abilities for shooting. This build is an absolute all-around unit, and I highly recommend trying this out. And of course, if you do try this build and you do like it, let me know down in the comments below. Drop a like and let me know any other types of builds that you want to see on this channel, whether it be goalie builds, defensive builds, winger builds, center builds, whatever it may be. And of course, like I said, the player build series will be back in full effect, so comment some of your favorite players who you want to see me recreate in ESHL 25 down below. And if you are new here, or if you unsubbed because of the inconsistency, like I said, I greatly apologize, but we are back in full swing, so feel free to resub with those noties on, because I promise y'all, bangers on bangers, fully consistent this year. I greatly appreciate y'all boys watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Thank y'all for all the support. Peace out, fellas.